A very good morning to you and welcome to K24 This Morning. Once again, if you're just joining us, well, you've gotten to the sweeter part of this particular show, and this is when we get to discuss our relationship. This being a Thursday, of course, we get deeper into divorce, and we want to know, why does it happen? Why does it get murky? Or if you've been in a sweet one, if there's such a situation, you can also let us know through our various social media handles. We shall be giving you the question of the day in a couple of minutes. All right, so every single time, every single day, there are divorce happening, or other cases going on in courts. I think about 95 every single day at the courts. Well, that's a very big number considering weddings only happen very few every other Saturday. So we want to find out, why are people separating? What's the reason behind that particular situation? And joining me today, I do have marriage counselor. She's been here on the show a couple of times, Grace Kariuki. Karibu sana rather to the show. We also have Mr. Dennis Magare, who's a family lawyer and mediator. All right, karibu sana. And then Jackie Ndeto, who's a travel agent and an entrepreneur. Karibu tena sana to the show.
Asante.
Thank you for coming and gracing this particular set. And I'll just start with yourself, Grace. Yes. You're obviously familiar with the situation because you meet a lot of couples and you sit with them and they come to you with their issues, and sometimes, unfortunately, it ends up with them separating. Why does it sometimes end up very, very ugly? Like watu wanakosana kabisa, watu wanaficha watoto, and so on and so forth.
Yes. Thank you for having me here today. And it's sad that we are talking about divorce. Divorce is never, ever something that anybody wants to go through. It's painful, and it's a death that never dies.
Wow.
We can't bury it.
Wow.
You know, we continue
it's a death that never dies.
Yes.
That sounds scary.
Yes. That experience, I believe those who have gone through it have had people say, I would never wish my worst enemy to have to go through that, because they are also the grass when two elephants fight, and that is the grass, the children, that have to bear the pain of it as well, and they have no choice in the matter. Yes. Now, one of the reasons that I know from my experience working with couples that causes people to separate is really unresolved issues. And so over time, unresolved issues, and conflict is good. Conflict comes as an opportunity for growth. Now, during the drama stage of marriage, which is your first 10 years of marriage, if there are no tools and skills to manage the inevitable conflicts, those unresolved conflicts over time, they create this now, the bitterness, and they create the inability to resolve. Right. And so sometimes it's because people do not have the skills, and a lot of times it's because the ego refuses to die, or to humble itself.
The ego refuses to. I like the part humbling.
Yes.
Because I don't think an ego can die no matter what.
I know.
Wakili Dennis, you obviously, being a family lawyer, you've come through child custody issues, separation issues, and so on and so forth. And sometimes watu wanakwanga tu vichwa ngumu. What do you think leads to that, to the fact whereby we even have to get to the court? Why don't we just mediate and say, we shall divide ABCD 50-50, or I shall take care of my children 50-50? Why does it sometimes just get really, really ugly?
Now, mostly when you look at all that issue, it's a communication issue. And what usually, with all the cases we've seen, both as a lawyer practicing and as a mediator, what I notice is that when you're being told this is the reason why we are breaking, it's actually not the reason. It's the reason why we are breaking today. Okay. But it starts from day one. Something starts getting wrong. Okay. And people keep quiet. Okay. Slowly, with time, then now you reach a point where you are unable completely to communicate, even on a very simple issue. Let me give you an example. Even on a day of marriage, if you watch keenly, you can say this marriage is unlikely. From day one? It's from day one.
You can tell it, whether it's going
we
to be
are not even agreeing on colors of what is supposed to be there. We are not even agreeing on the venue or which relative is to talk first. Unfortunately, some people also refuse to grow up.
Okay.
For example, I'm a man, and sometimes there's an issue, when do I stop being a son and remember I'm married? Okay. So sometimes you reach somewhere where, for example, it can be a very simple issue. Your wife wants to hear you talk to her. Okay. Just talk to her, nothing serious. Yeah. But You're always sitting with your mom discussing absolutely nothing. Then you come and sleep. Nothing hurts a woman like when she cooks.
Yes.
And you have not eaten the food.
You'd rather come home hungry.
Yes.
Or even if you come full cooler, you are come out.
Yes. So sometimes again what happens is, because you have been unable as a man to communicate to your wife, you stay out with the boys till late. Now the boys replace. You see, now we start running away instead of solving.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a very simple issue of saying, I am sorry.
Just that.
Just that. Now because of that, then you do not want to see the ground. Nobody wants to see the ground.
Okay.
They just say, okay, how do you call it? I am right. Even deep down, you know you're not right. But admitting to a woman you don't like, you no longer like, or admitting to your wife that you are wrong, it is a problem. Okay. And there is another reverse thing on that communication. Sometimes we treat our wives or husbands as our pastors or priests. We unburden our problems, all past problems to them. We tell them the boyfriends we have, the girlfriends we have. Now, unfortunately, during the courtship time, you know, it's very nice. Yes. You take it smoothly. But as time hits, you start reflecting. Now, did he tell me she had 5 girlfriends or boyfriends? You understand? Yes. Yeah. Now, every time you're late and she had told you the boyfriend is in Kisumu, then it must be there.
Okay. We shall get to the details in a couple of minutes. Let me just go to Jackie. Jackie, at least you've gone through the process of divorce.
Yes, I have.
I don't know. Is it an easy process?
First and foremost, as per the topic states, it is not that we are advocating for divorce, but we're looking at it like, is it easy, or can you do it with ease? Believe me, as Grace said, divorce is painful. You'd never wish it on your worst enemy. So I think it's a personal choice to decide this kind of drama and anything, I'm not going to get involved in it. Right. It depends on whether your partner also is a drama person and they want to go to have drama in the process of going through divorce. But I would say it is the most painful thing that any human being can ever go through. Right. But I believe as an individual you can choose, I do not want to fight. What do I want? I want to get out. Can I get out in peace? You know? So I believe you can actually still get out in peace. Yeah. It may not be that peaceful, but you can choose to get out in peace.
Kwa utaratibu tu.
Kwa utaratibu tu. Kwa utaratibu tu. Like I remember in my situation, I wouldn't say it was very peaceful, but I would say there was peace. Yeah. And when I tried to walk out, I remember somebody telling me, why do you have to make sure that everything is ready for this person when they come back home? Yeah. I said, but you know, there's someone I love. Yeah. So I made sure that there was a cooker. There were 2 beds. I take one. I did not pick anything on the sitting room. If there were dishes, I keep for him this, I keep for him this. I remember I took the cooker, I went and bought a maker, filled it with gas, made sure that he has something to come and cook with. Yeah. You know.
Now this is you preparing to exit.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually on that day. So because this is someone I love. And let him come home and still have something to cook with. Let him be able to still eat. Let his life still be able to move normally. Right. And I remember I still, every Sunday, I would call and say, are you home? I would take the children. Because he did not want to come and pick the children.
To your place.
So for me, I chose that I wanted my peace. Because divorce is very emotional. Okay. Extremely emotional. And I'm not saying I didn't go through the emotions. I did. But I did it with a lot of peace. Okay. A lot of ease.
I want to rope in the audience into this as we continue the conversation. And the question of the day is up on your screen. Why do couples result in bitter disputes during divorce? Why do couples result in bitter disputes during divorce? If you've been through divorce, tueleze, why is it that probably, if yours was very ugly, and I use the word ugly because there's no other better word to use, so if you've been through divorce, you know, tell us why did it end up bitter? Or if you know someone who's been through divorce, why was it bitter? If at all yours was peaceful, just like Jackie has explained, you can also let us know. You know, what are some of the things that you did to make sure that it was smooth? Hata kama ulitoka na curtains, na ukatoka na meko, na ukatoka na carpet, na ukatoka na kitanda, yeah? Because you were like, this is, you know, just tell us, you know, what led to that particular situation. Find us on our Twitter handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. SMS us on 21222, and the number to WhatsApp as well is on your screen. You can call us as well. We'd love to hear your voice. Let us know where you're watching from and your name, tafadhali. Moving on, Grace, let me come back to you.
Yes.
She has explained the way she said, how she did it. You know, she still loved this particular person. And she said that as much as ninaenda, si ati ninaenda ni kuacha ukiteseka. But that is not usually the case.
Yes, I mean, I have to say that I am very impressed, and we do need to, you know, take a learning from her, because a lot of times it doesn't mean that when I go through divorce I hate this person, that I no longer love them. We have history. We have a life that we had together. We had hopes and we had dreams. We have children. We have partnership, and we have created a family together. And you can imagine. I'm thinking that you must have gone through your own personal, whether it was spiritually that she went through the whole process of kind of separating her own pain. This is my personal pain, and I don't need to inflict it on somebody else. I need to live with dignity. Oh, right. I love it. When you were talking, I was thinking dignity, human dignity. I give him dignity, I give myself dignity, I give my children dignity. And a lot of people may think that again, the woman is bending over backwards to please this person who has created so much pain for her. And so we really want to encourage people to understand, if it's inevitable, there is a way, like she said, there is a way that you can do it in a way that nobody is bleeding excessively. You know, we are not actually causing more bleeding, because there is already so much pain. Let's try and find out how we can do this with ease. Okay. Yeah, and that is what I would imagine mediation is about. But even in our practice, I usually again tell them, now where it has reached, the marriage, it seems like the unresolvable issues are there, and we are not going anywhere. Can we talk about parenting while you know, co-parenting, so that your children are getting the best of you, and you guys are not so eroded and flooded with your own pain that you forget the children, because their lives are going on. Yeah. True, that's very true. Dennis, again, coming to you. First of all, how long does divorce take in Kenya? Because there are rumors out there that, oh, if you want to divorce your wife today or your husband today, where do I eat at least 3 years? Is number one. Is that true?
Now, it depends from time to time. We've done several cases. There are those that take short time and those that take long. But I do not advocate for a very short period, because sometimes the initial stages, when they have gone to court, they are with bitterness. But when time lapses and they reflect on what they have done, they just come back to themselves. So sometimes we take time to 6-7 months, just a lull in that matter, because, you know, divorce is not just yourself. You're getting yourself out, but, you know, there are several other relationships that remain. True. So we sometimes delay them, not really delaying, but giving time. I mean, the act says...
So it's deliberate?
Sometimes it's deliberate.
Even the court does it deliberately?
Yes, so that you don't divorce and tomorrow you realize you made a mistake. For example, what she has told us, that she left nicely. Unfortunately, that sometimes leaves room for somebody to think, if you could do these nice things to me, there is a chance. You know, closure doesn't come up. So sometimes that chance you never close. So we give you a chance that you don't divorce before you're very sure you're going out. Okay. Because there is most of the time, there's no reverse gear. After you have divorced, you are off. Nivio. Unfortunately, you don't divorce the relatives. Your mother-in-law remains your mother-in-law. So you also need some of these things to sink in. The reality is to sink in, 1 or 2 people to intervene, or your church, your counselors, you know, like advocates to advise, go for counseling and this. In that process, you may get something still burning, the original fire. You return them back. But if you do it 2 or 3 days, after 5 days you hear again, after 5 months they have announced marriage bans. So that there are times when
if the court allows for those 5, 6, 7 months,
Yes.
wanarudiana. What urudiana?
Some do. I remember a case where the clients, we were cross-examining the wife so badly.
Right.
Because it's an adversarial system. We had to prove so many bad things. Then the husband just walked and said, you can't ask my wife this. And they just went home.
Huh?
It just happens. So sometimes, because of the adversarial nature, that love never dies completely. She will tell us something remains. Something remains. And that something can be rekindled in that period because people don't remain bitter forever.
Okay.
Once you go through the process, you reach somewhere and say, okay. For example, if it's a girl who was causing this, some other woman, usually it's a third woman.
Extramarital affair.
Yes. They always disappear when the main woman has disappeared.
Yeah.
So
I like that one. They always disappear when the main woman disappears.
So at that point, people will come to their senses and notice.
Okay.
So the timelines are not that the courts are slow. It is important to have that time.
Okay. Yes. I want us to go through one WhatsApp message here from one of our viewers. Good morning there at K24. Mbuvi, divorce makes many children think that the word father or mother were wrongly put in the dictionary. As much as some divorce, we cannot prevent. It's usually stigmatizing. Please ask our wonderful panel for me to tell or explain where we get it wrong with marriage, so as to at least reduce the number of divorce. This is Andrew from Kemilil. All right, Andrew from Kemilil, ameuliza swali zuri sana, and I'll just jump to Jackie in this particular situation. I don't know, how long have you been divorced now?
15 years.
15?
Yes.
That's quite a long time.
Yes, it is.
All right, and things are good. You still communicate?
If there's reason to communicate, we communicate.
Okay.
The family
sure
always,
now the kids
the
are
family
big.
always, yes, the family always invites me to their functions. I'm always there, so we meet.
Okay.
I meet with his new wife, and we are friends.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But Andrew here is saying, sometimes it makes the children think that divorce, or rather the word parents, mother and father, ileko kwa dictionary kimakosa. I don't know, did your kids go through, a very hard time during the period of divorce?
What happens with the children mostly is what we tell them. Like the person who has the children is what you tell them. What have you been telling them about the other person? Do they still respect the other partner as their father or as their mother? And for me, I remember I chose that I would never make the children come in between. Of course, I'm saying I wasn't perfect.
Okay.
There could be one thing or the other that happened.
Let me just hold you on that because we have a caller on the line. Ezekiel, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Mr. Mbuvi?
I'm fine, thank you. What is your question or comment?
No, my comment, I think I was responding to your question.
Yes, Ezekiel?
Why the divorces get murky or something.
Yes.
First, before I comment, let me say I'm very impressed with the travel agent, Jackie Ndeto.
Thank you very much.
It's very rare to find people who go that direction of making it soft and smooth.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, my simple answer to why I think and believe that they get murky is one party, sometimes, in most cases, one party.
Yes.
They want to prove that they are the ones who are right.
Okay.
And they will demonize the other person.
Okay.
I walked that journey 12 years ago.
Pole sana.
And I chose to use the route of Jackie Ndeto. I refused any form of fight, and I thank God that I did.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel. Okay. Ezekiel has actually identified with your situation as well. So you're saying that it depends on what you have been telling the kids or what your partner has been telling, or rather your ex-partner has been telling the kids.
Exactly. What we do is we make the kids that are in between. They become like we make them also part of the punching bag in between. And for me, the best route I think I've taken, my boys would attest to that today, is that first thing, I never kept quiet on what was happening. Or rather, any decision I made, I passed it through them. I remember I had said, I'm going to give this 5 years. After 5 years, if nothing has worked, then I'll file for divorce. And I did exactly that. And at the 5 years, I talked to my sons, and I'm like, you guys, this is what I'm going to do. The younger one was, I think, 6 at the time. Or rather, after 5 years, he was about 10 or 9. And I said, I'm going to file for divorce. And he said, Mom, what is divorce? And I explained to him. And he was like, Mom, please don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to talk to Dad. I'm going to talk to Dad. And I said, I shoved it. And it's him who came back after a year or so and said, Mom, you can go ahead and do this.
Wow.
The big one didn't have an issue.
Yeah.
But this is a child who loved his father so much. And I remember every Friday, the dad would come home and pick him. It's after maybe after the 3 or 4 years. Pick him. And I remember telling him, you guys, when you have to pick him, just let me know. Because I made plans for the weekend or something. But I realized it was not happening. But I tried to let this kid just go.
Yes.
Just let him go and be with his dad. The big one would not get off his mother. He felt like he was his mother's protector. So it is making the kids have an idea of what is happening in your life. The decisions you are making, you pass it by them. And then they're able to know what is happening. Where are we going? Because they're also very confused. I believe, Grace, you can attest to that. They're very confused. They also go through the pain. And what happens in most cases is we go through counseling as the adults and we leave the children. Yet they're actually hurting in the process.
Yeah.
So my choice was to make sure that these kids are informed of any decision I make. And I made sure that they looked at their father and looked at him like their dad.
With the respect he deserves.
Exactly. I made a choice that these kids will have to look at him in the street and tell their friends proudly, that is my dad. That was my prayer. And that is why I said, I'm not going to gang them against their dad.
Okay. We have another caller. Gideon as well is on the line. Gideon, good morning. How are you doing, Gideon? Nice to hear your voice again.
Yeah, nice to hear your voice again. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. What is your question or comment?
Now, just a comment and maybe adding something.
Yes.
You know, in a relationship, there are 2 people involved.
All right.
And lack of this communication really hurts everything. So the first thing is communication.
All right.
And maybe the second thing before I hang over.
Yes.
And because I just wanted at least to come up with the 2.
Okay.
If the 2 people, actually, if one is having some maybe affairs outside and he comes home with that moody situation.
Yes.
So but there is that actually the whole thing goes around communication.
Okay.
So maybe, thank you, maybe I can add up maybe the other day.
Thank you very much, Gideon from Narok. Asante sana. Now, I want to, there's something you wanted to say as she was talking.
Yes, I was looking at her situation vis-a-vis Andrew's question.
All right.
Now, Andrew asked, what do we do to reduce the divorces and to reduce hurts? What you'll notice is that most of the time, as I said earlier, the divorces start so much earlier. Like she said, 5 years earlier, she had made a decision. Now, that means most of us keep most of these processes. We rush into marriage, we don't know our partners. We discover them in marriage.
During, yes.
So if we can't be having before you marry, you take through the stages.
Right.
Go through counseling, go through married education. For example, in churches they do that. Then you really know your partner. You know, sometimes you meet in a workplace like this, you go home. This is a show.
Yes.
Now, when you go home, it's not a show, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So we need to have premarital counseling.
True.
And we stop eloping and or doing a wedding because you are somebody's, you don't know the person you're marrying. 2, for her, she's lucky that the children were big enough.
Yeah.
6 years, you can know what is going on. Some divorce when the children are 1 year or a few months. They just discover later that has happened. So what we need to do is that when the danger signs start showing up, we need to have a mentor, somebody who can easily walk you through the path before you. Most of the divorces can be saved.
Right.
Those that can't be saved, we swallow, especially women. Just say, I'm here for the sake of the children, I'm here for the sake of this. So at the end of the day, the problems start piling up, and even the other partner doesn't even know that is hurting the spouse.
Okay.
So if you can have somebody to walk you through those processes, then you will be able to avoid the many divorces.
Okay.
There are, especially the avoidable divorces. There are some which are not avoidable.
Okay, yes. I want us to take a short break, but before we do that, probably just to prepare you for what is coming up in the second half, let's pick up from the fact that imeumana, sasa we need to separate. Why do, especially the women, and I'll say women because I'm a man. Why is it that the women wanakataanga tukifanya vitu zingine? Wanakataa na watoto, for example, wanakataa hata tukipiga simu. Even the parents-in-law are involved. Wanakataa tukipiga simu, wanaambia msichana achana, mwanaume ni shetani, and so on and so forth. And sometimes actually even the parents-in-law, hao ndio saa zingine wanakuanga the main cause of that of the divorce. So we're definitely having that conversation. Our WhatsApp number is currently on your screen. Please let us know what your thoughts are on today's topic. Do divorces have to be murky? Do they have to be ugly? Ama, just like Jackie did, they can be smooth sailing. They don't have to be sweet, but they can be smooth sailing. So that conversation continues after the break.